Oh gosh. Good evening, everyone. Hello, I am Sade Slaughter, and we are back in Money September for our Financial Awareness Friday. Thank you all for tuning in. And like we always say, you could be anywhere right now, but you decided to be here with us. And that already shows your dedication to wanting a better financial future. All right, so let's get into it. Now, just a little backdrop about who we are. Generation Genesis is a nonprofit that I founded to empower generations to recreate their narratives. We do that through various community events, outreaches, webinars, free fitness classes, free life coaching, and an online resource hub. We have a special place in our hearts for those that struggle financially because honestly, we've all been in that space when it seems like we just can't get our finances right, or we at least know someone who has been there. Financial literacy is so important because it helps to break those generational curses and it builds legacies. And let's just say it, life is easier when you understand money. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to Lucretia Chestnut of Lavish and Thrifty. She actually serves as our treasurer within our board of directors, and she is a Jane of many trades, but I'll let her formally introduce herself and who she is before we get into these financial questions you all asked us over the past few weeks. Lucretia, go ahead.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. Thanks for joining us once again for this Financial Awareness Friday. I am Lucretia. I'm the creator and founder of Lavish and Thrifty, where I just love living life on a budget. So why not help you do the same? So as your financial role model, I'm going to answer some questions right here today, give you some advice. This is just my opinions and my advice. Any advice that I give here today might not be for everybody, but please seek your own financial professional for any type of additional help you might need.
That's good. I'm glad you said that. It's always good to get your own financial coach or financial advisor, mentor, someone that you know and you can trust that is good with their money. But I am going to go ahead and share my screen. I also wanted to let you know that before we get started, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. We may not be able to answer them in this webinar, but we will get back to you directly. And also, special surprise, a prize for a very special person later on, you're going to win a raffle. So if you are watching this video, you have been entered into a raffle. So yeah, special prize. So stay tuned. And Lucretia, we are going to jump right in. We asked y'all about 2 weeks ago, maybe, if y'all had any financial literacy questions, and y'all always come through. So we pulled, I believe it was about 12 questions that we were able to get. Some of them were repeated, so we kind of grouped them into one question, but we pulled about 12 questions, and we're going to answer those questions today. So stay tuned because there may be a question that's asked and you'll get an answer tonight from our financial expert. All right, so first question is, how can I create a spreadsheet to track family spending?
All right, so there's a couple ways that you can do this. One of the easiest ways is to go into Google Drive, and once you click on Google Drive, they actually have some templates for you. And one of them is actually a budget template. So you can do it that way. You can create your own spreadsheet in Excel. It's going to be income minus expenses. So you'll list all of your income, and then you'll list all of your expenses, and then you'll just put in a formula to subtract your expenses from your income to see what you have left over. One other thing that you can do is you can actually leave your email address within the chat or in the comment box, and I can actually send you a budget spreadsheet that I use that I really like that tracks your spending and all of that. So those are a couple of different ways.
Word. Okay, yeah, I might need that too. But yeah, no, I think it's really good. And whoever asked this question, kudos to you for even wanting to do this. I think, being able to track where your money goes is so important because there's so many times where people talk about how they get paid and then like a week later they feel like they're broke because they don't even know what they spent their money on the past week. So that is awesome. That is awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the next question. Next question is, how can I know my current net worth?
Good question. This is actually really good. This is something that I think everybody should do once a month, is track their net worth. So net worth is just assets minus liabilities. So you want to track everything you own and you want to subtract everything that you owe. So what you own minus what you owe. That is how you get your net worth. So anything that you own might be something like, if you own your house, if you own your car and your car is worth something, if you own stocks, any type of investments that you own, and then your liabilities or anything that you owe. So if you do have a car payment, that's a liability. If you own your house, that's a liability. So what you own minus what you owe equals your net worth, and definitely track it every month because you want to know where you are. Otherwise, how would you know how much you need to make, or how much you save, so definitely track it every month.
Well, while you were talking, I would say my net worth is a good $32. A good $32. That's good. You could say it was assets
minus liability.
Minus liability. That's good. That's really good. Yeah. And this is a question I laugh because this is something I never really thought about. But like when we think of net worth, we usually think of like celebrity status.
Right.
What's Beyonce's net worth? Like I'm pretty sure that's been Googled a bajillion times.
Yeah.
Like you never really think about your actual self. Like I'm not a celebrity, but I do have a net worth.
Mm-hmm.
Really good question.
Really good everybody question. Does. Yep.
All right, let's go ahead to question number 3. This one, I want to know for myself. Mm-hmm. Hello, how can I go on a vacation for less than $1,000 with my spouse? And I think it was another question that was similar to this. How can I go on a vacation out of the country for less than $1,000 with my spouse? And I think they asked that because they know your story. So yeah, let's get into that one.
So very, very good question. Not too many places nowadays you can go for 2 people under $1,000. Not too much of that going on. However, there is a way. Don't know if you would have to, if you would be able to go with just you and your spouse and spend under $1,000, but I know that we actually have a cabin trip coming up where we're driving to. And I think to stay at the actual cabin with other people, with me and my husband to have our own room, it's under $1,000. So when I seen this question, I was like, that's the trip that we're doing that's under $1,000. And like all of our food is included in that. So we'll be cooking food at the cabin. And then that would also include our gas too, and that's under $1,000. So that's a way to do it. If you get other couples involved and maybe you guys get an Airbnb somewhere or cabin or something of that nature, you'll be able to pay under $1,000. Now, when you start to add in things like flights, I gotta take a flight somewhere out of the country. Nowadays, you're definitely gonna be looking at over $1,000.
Wow.
For your trip. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Now, another thing that you can do if you're into this is have like your credit card and use like some points from your credit card. See what your credit card points are looking like, put that towards your trip, and maybe you'll only have to put in like 800 of your own dollars or something to stay under that $1,000. That's another way to do it. I know a lot of people just, swipe their credit cards for things that they use on a daily basis, and then they take the points and use them on a trip.
Yeah.
So that's a way that you can do it. But yeah, as soon as I take this next trip, I'll post about that. But other than that, anything with flights anything out of the country, it's gonna cost.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. My husband and I tried to plan a trip one time, and we were like, "Oh yeah, it's only $700." Then we added the flights to it.
Mhm.
The thing was like 3,000. I was like, "Oh, we ain't going there."
It, it always take you over the top. It's always extra. It's ridiculous.
I'm about hurt. I was hurt, real hurt.
I mean,
Oh God.
everything is up now. So
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I know one thing that helps out, and has helped me out in the past is just making sure you plan ahead of time.
yeah.
Like Mike and I, we serious when it comes to our vacation. Like we love traveling, and we plan a year in advance, if
Mhm.
not more. So when you're planning out that far ahead, a lot of times those flights and everything else are a lot cheaper. Like I always tell people about my honeymoon trip. Like we planned our honeymoon trip, I want to say it was like 7 or 8 months in advance. Um, and we ended up going there to Puerto Rico for 9 days with hotel, car, and plane all inclusive for less than $2,000. So it's possible. You
Very
just
good.
got to plan, you just got to plan accordingly. And I know that's not always realistic for some people, but that's just the reality of it. It's planning. So yeah, that's good. That's really good. So let's go ahead and get into the next question. This one says, I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, which is where I am. Should I buy a house now or wait until next year? Now, this question is very, very specific because Charlotte's housing market right now sucks. Like for the buyer, not for the realtor. But it really sucks for someone who's trying to buy a home right now because the market is just.
And I think that's all over the country.
Yeah.
So this is a good question, but I think it's more of a question for your lender and your realtor. Especially since I don't live in Charlotte anymore, so I don't really know about the housing market, and I'm not a realtor or a lender.
Basura. It's trash.
But a lot of people are saying you should wait, and then there's people who are saying no, you should buy now. There's still deals out there, and like I'm the deal queen. So if I was looking for a home right now, I would still honestly be looking. I wouldn't let nobody deter me. I would be looking for those deals. You know what I mean? Like I would just put myself out there, make sure I have my money saved, make sure this is something that I really want to do. I would shop around for my lenders, not just go with the first lender you run into. Make sure you fully vet your lenders, fully vet your realtors, make sure they have your best interest at heart. Really let them know what you're looking for, really explain what you're looking for. I wouldn't settle for something just to say that I got a house. I wouldn't settle. I think I would just put myself out there. And if I run across something that I really love and I really feel like it's home, interest rates, if the interest rate is right, if I don't feel like I'm overpaying, go for it.
Yeah, that's really good. I'm glad you said not to like settle and not to just like jump into the first thing that comes, because that actually happened to an old friend of mine. She was living in her boyfriend's parents' house and was just so fed up there that they jumped on the first home that basically, or the first company that gave them a chance. And she hates that house now. And she still has like 30 plus years, after interest and all that. Still has like 30 plus years of paying on this house. And I'm just like, that really, really sucks. I don't want to be you. I don't. So yeah, that's really good. Do not be desperate.
Right.
I think that go back to planning. Make sure you plan. Plan ahead. Plan ahead.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good. All right, so let's jump into the next one. This one was interesting. Will student loan forgiveness negatively impact my credit score? It's a really good question.
Student loan forgiveness, will it negatively impact my credit score? That is a good question.
I don't know if they were talking about, and y'all can let us know in the comments if this is what you were talking about specifically, but are y'all talking about like student loan forgiveness in general? Like a teacher that like went through a couple of years of teaching and their student loans were forgiven? Or are you talking about the Joe Biden thing that was just passed where it's like you get $10,000 knocked off or 20,000 if you got Pell Grants. I think that's what, like, I don't know which one specifically, but maybe they both affected the same way.
And I haven't heard anything about that, like recently, the whole Joe Biden thing, I don't think nobody's gotten the money yet. So
right. I know I didn't. Where my money at, Joe?
Right. But yeah, so I don't think anybody's gotten the money yet. So I don't know specifically. I haven't heard anything about it impacting your credit, but I know if I had loans and somebody was giving me $10,000, I actually probably wouldn't care. I just want to get it paid down. I don't care what it does to my credit. Just go ahead and pay it down, because you can always build your credit back up. You know, all you gotta do is get you a credit card with a subscription on it and pay it every month on time. Like, literally. So I don't know anybody who wants their student loans not paid off. Like, give me all, pay the whole
thing.
Pay the whole thing.
Give it all to me. Pay everything, Joe. You playing with this 10,000? You should boost that up a little bit.
Right. So if I were you, I wouldn't worry about that. Just be thankful that it's, you know, you're getting some money towards it. So
yeah, absolutely.
That would be my worries.
Yeah. Now I have heard of people's credit scores going down a little bit once they like paid off the whole thing. But as far as like student loan forgiveness, I don't know. I've never heard of that either. Like what happens when that happens. If that has happened to you and it either didn't affect your score at all, or it affected it negatively, let us know.
Yeah.
Or if it affected it positively, who knows, you know?
Yeah.
That's still a really good question.
Yep.
All right, next one. If I die today, God forbid, and I don't have a trust or will, what will happen to my young kids, house, and car?
I think if you don't have anything written down, I think it would be up to the state, right, to determine who your items or your things would go to if you don't have anything written down. And you're saying if you don't have a will, so you didn't say anything about beneficiaries. So I know you can have like beneficiaries for some of your, you know, like if you have an investment account or you have life insurance, there's different things that you can have a beneficiary for. So if you have that written down, then whatever that account is will go to that person, whatever percentage you put for that person. But I think it's up to the state if you don't have a will or anything. Don't quote me on that. I'll do a little bit of extra research for that and put it in the comments. But I think that might be what happened. You leave it up to the state to determine.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I actually have he's technically family. But this actually happened to someone not too long ago. We were at his house literally a year ago, talking to him about making sure he has all of his stuff in order, because he has land out in Puerto Rico, and he has a home in Florida, and he just had like a lot of like different things to his name, but he never actually like wrote anything down. And this was like October of last year. We were talking to him, my husband and I were talking to him. We were like, hey, you have to, you know, get your stuff right. Make sure you have this stuff down, have somebody, you know, in your corner that can like vouch for you, and, you know, have like the trust and the will and all of those things, right? And he passed away without doing it in December of last year. And I just thought that was so ironic that this question came up, because I'm like, I literally know someone that you know, their family is going through this right now. So yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense with the state.
Yeah, the best thing to do is to get a will together. You know, like I actually have this benefit through my job where you can go to different lawyers for different things. And one of them is, you know, I can go to this lawyer and, you know, prepare a will with him. your
Word.
husband can. And I paid for this benefit. It's like $16 a month. So check
Word.
your jobs, because I know like my mom has it, where she was able to do it for free. Well,
Wow.
she pays like what, $7 a month for it or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically,
Okay.
you have to come out with a large lump sum of money for it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But it is something important to have. So if you don't have one, please try to look into
Yeah.
a
Absolutely.
will somehow
Yeah.
as soon
Yeah.
as you.
Yeah. That's good. Okay. All right. Let's jump into the next one. Is straight to the point, huh? Is insurance a scam?
I don't know. Do you think it's a scam?
Oh gosh.
I mean, there's a lot of people. I mean, if you watch TikTok and all of that, you'll hear a lot of people talk about scams. And
Hmm.
I don't necessarily know if it's a scam or not, but I know there's a lot of insurance out there that everyone doesn't need. I
Hmm.
think it's important to figure out what insurance you need. And one that comes to mind is when you talk about life insurance, you talk about term life, and you talk about whole life insurance.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't need whole life insurance, but people,
Mm.
the insurance agents will try to get these people to get whole life insurance, and it's very pricey, it's very expensive.
Yeah.
Um, where the average person doesn't need it. I know I don't need whole life insurance. I just have
Yeah.
term life insurance.
Yeah.
Um, so when it gets into stuff like that, I don't think it's a scam, but I do think that there are pushy salespeople
Mm.
who try to put you into insurance policies that you do not need.
Wow.
Please be aware. Please make sure that you ask all the questions that you can and read everything before you sign anything, or before you jump into some type of policy that you don't need.
Mm.
That would
That's
be
good. Yeah. That's really good. Yeah. I worked for Allstate a long time ago.
Mhm.
And I would say insurance, is it a scam? I would say yes and no.
Yeah.
I would say yes and no, because you're paying all this money and it's like, all right, come on, something's got to give. And then, whether it be car insurance or house insurance, whatever, property insurance, something happens, then you're like, oh, thank God. Thank God I have it, So, I mean, I say yes and no. Yes, it's expensive, but when it's used, it's actually put to good use, then it's not a scam.
Yeah.
So yes and no. Yes and no. Do I have it? Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh
I
God.
can't see it no other way, because I don't want to have any like issues.
Yeah.
But I will say it's a scam in a way too, as like if you have house insurance and something happens to your house and you use the insurance,
Mm.
they be wanting to drop you after
Yeah.
this claim.
Yeah.
They be like, you can't. I'll be like, well, I've been paying you, like
Right. All the time.
I've been paying y'all all this time, and then something
Right.
happens, and then y'all want to drop me. No, that's not how that works.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that seems a little scammy to me.
Yeah. Absolutely. I agree. I
Because
agree.
that actually happened to me. I actually used it, and they were like, oh, you can't use it again. We're gonna drop you.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. That's horrible. I know I've never been dropped, but I've been like put in a situation where after I had like a car accident,
Hmm.
they raised my rates like sky high. And I'm like, whoa, how I go from paying, this was when I was young, how I go from paying like $200 a month to now like $500 a month, like
Right.
for a little bender bender. I don't
Right.
think so. But yeah. Oh God. All right, let's jump into the next one. Are home buying programs like NECA worth it? I've heard of NECA.
I
I'm
haven't heard of
interested in
that.
NECA. I'm interested.
I think it is. I think it takes you it takes you through the home buying process from beginning to end.
Mm,
I think you have to go through a class. You might have to work on your budget, which is all good things, right? Because if you
yeah.
buy a house, you really want to be financially in a good place,
Right.
stable. And I think the program helps you to get to that place, especially if you're not there already.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think it's worth it. A lot of people say it takes a long time. People are not patient, but if you have patience, and you really want to learn the process from beginning to end, I think it's worth it.
Yeah.
I-
If anybody is watching this and you've actually gone through the NECA process, let us know in the comments. Was it worth it?
Yeah.
Was it worth it? That's good. All right, next question. Is there anything else I can do to reduce my income taxes that I'm not doing now? Okay, so this sounds like someone who owes when it's tax time instead of someone who actually gets a refund. That's what I'm assuming.
Yeah. That's what this question sounds like. How can you reduce your income taxes? You can start a business,
Hmm.
buy a home, you have kids.
Hello. That's one sure way.
But you know what? All of these things cost money. So I mean,
They do.
if you can just, if you are a person who owes, if you don't mind just paying that 500, 1,000, I'm not sure how much you owe, if
Yeah.
you even owe during income tax time,
Yeah.
it might be just worth it to pay that. You know what I mean? Versus, you know, doing any of the things that I just suggested. Another thing that you can do though, which this is a good suggestion in my opinion, is you can actually, if you work somewhere and they have 401k, you can add more money to your 401k, maybe max it out. Instead of just paying, into the minimum, just max it out so that that will reduce your taxable income, because that's what you're really trying to do, is reduce your taxable income so that you don't have to owe as much. So that's a good way to do it. And if you do like, something like an IRA, or, like I said, max out your 401k, that's a way to reduce your taxable income.
That's good. I've heard of crazy ways to increase the refund, but I haven't heard of many ways to reduce the amount that you would have to pay. Like I know one girl, she does like half the year, her withholding is like 0. And then the other half, she like does 6. And like she breaks even, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. That's something else I really am not well versed in when it comes to taxes. I swear every time tax time come around, I be like, Turbo, tax me, because I don't know what I'm doing.
But I will say too, another thing about income taxes, it's not bad to owe.
Yeah.
Actually not a bad thing to owe. And in fact, you would probably rather that, because even if you're getting a refund from the IRS, that means that they held your money and they did not put any interest on it. So they basically held your money all year and did not add any interest. So if you owe $500,000, okay. At least the IRS wasn't holding your money.
Right. That's interesting. Okay. Cool beans. All right. Next question. Why do social media influencers make so much money?
Because they're so creative.
So creative.
And you know what? People like us be sitting there swiping and looking and viewing and commenting and liking and
That thumb be scrolling. Our thumbs are strong.
Yeah.
Okay. Our thumbs are real strong.
Yep. So basically it's because they have an audience. So anytime your audience is, you have more views on your content, brands will reach out to you. You can even get paid from the platforms themselves, like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. But brands will reach out to you if you have a large enough following and they really want to work with you, and they will pay you for partnerships, sponsorships. So that's how they get so much money.
That's good. Yeah, that was something that I wondered before. And I know one person that she became internet famous, and she had a large following, and people loved her for all of the the stuff that she put out, all of her content and everything. People just loved her for it.
Mm-hmm.
But she started getting those brand deals,
Mm-hmm.
and they started flying in, and all of a sudden, all of her stuff on YouTube had a ton of ads. That was one of the first things that she noticed. And then like the stuff that she was putting out, all of it had to do, like, it was always in like ulterior motive. Like it all had to do like, oh yeah, you want to know why my face is so clean? Mm-hmm. Well, try this. Like everything was an advertisement within her stuff, her content. Yeah. And it's like, okay, how authentic are you now? Right. You know, so it's like, even though, you know, everything, you know, what do they say? Everything that glitter ain't gold. Right. Like on the outside looking in, it's like, oh, seems like she, you know, is living a good life, her best life, whatever. She's making money by doing everything that she loves, content creation, all that. And a lot of people honestly think that that stuff is easy. It's really not, but they think that stuff is easy. But then on the flip side, she's actually losing money now because she's not authentically being able to create. She's like with all these brands now. So that stuff right there, I'm good. If I go viral one day, that's cool. If I don't, that's still cool. You know, like I'm good. Just give me the money. I don't need all the extra stuff.
Why you just can't pay me? Let me just keep doing what I'm doing right here.
Right.
Pay me for this.
Exactly.
I feel you.
Yeah. All right, let's go into the next one. How do I get involved in the stock market?
Oh,
so as soon as how do I become an investor is what I think the question is. So
there's a couple ways, but I'll give you an easy way. Just basically, you can the easiest way is 401k. I know some people think they're not investing in the stock market if they have a 401k. That you're definitely in the market if you have a 401k. So if you don't have a 401k, see if you can get one, see if your job offers one. If not, I would go to a brokerage like Vanguard or Fidelity and open up like an IRA or Roth IRA. You can get involved that way. You can open up a taxable brokerage through those places as well. You can use, I'm trying to think of some other places that you can go to. You can use like Stash, you know, some of the brokerage apps that you might have heard on social media. You can go there.
I think you talked about some of those last year. Yeah.
And you can just go on there and buy some stocks, research your stocks, whatever you want to invest in. You can invest in index funds. And that's basically the basic ways of getting into the stock market without me going in depth. Like I said, if you have any questions about that, though, definitely see a professional, a financial professional who can actually help you with that. But yeah, those are some of the ways, basic ways.
Yeah, that's good. I know Mike and I, we have some very wealthy friends that you know, have some investments in stock market and Bitcoin and all those other things that, you know, seems like a lot of times unreachable for a lot of people.
Right.
But you know, the best thing I know for us is just asking. Like they're actually in it. Ask them the question. You never know. You know what they may say.
You don't need a lot of money either.
Yeah.
You don't need to just put whatever you have towards it.
Yeah. Don't they have it on like Cash App?
Yeah, they got it on Cash App.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like it's not as hard as it seems.
Yeah, that's good. All right, this is our last question. And then we'll get into our raffle. So, do rich people play the lottery? I wouldn't know because I'm not rich in money. I'm rich in spirit. Hallelujah.
I'm not rich either, but I've heard that people do. I don't know if y'all know what most recent when it was like what was it, the Pick 5 mega something, where the lady won in Chicago. Most recently, she won like $1.2 billion or whatever.
Oh wow.
But I seen celebrities online talking about it, like, you know, so I'm assuming that they went and played the lottery.
Oh wow.
But yes, absolutely. Rich people do play the lottery. They also
Yeah.
gamble. You also will see these people in Vegas
Mm.
or Atlantic City. They will be in the casinos. They will be playing blackjack, poker. Yes, rich people definitely play the lottery and gamble.
Yeah. Well, actually, now that you say that, I just saw an article about Lil Baby, the
Mhm.
rapper Lil Baby. He won like $1 million at a casino and gave like a whole bunch of people, like different families or something like that. I'm probably getting the story wrong, but he gave a whole bunch of like individual people, or individual families $10,000,
Yeah,
something like that. I was like, that's so dope. I love that. I love that.
they do it all the time.
Right, right. Well, that is good. I'm so happy that y'all were able to join us today. Like me and Lucretia said, we are going to answer any questions that you may have put in the comments directly. So we'll have an answer to your questions after this. And we have a raffle. So the raffle winner will get a special prize from us. And it is the first person to put in the comments, what year did we first start having these financial awareness talks? What year was it? First person to put in the comments, you win a raffle prize, a very special prize from us, from Generation Genesis. And that concludes our financial awareness webinar on today. Thank you so much for attending. On the screen, you can see our social media. Lucretia, where can they find you on social media?
I am on TikTok and IG as @Lavish and Thrifty. On Facebook, join my Facebook group. It's Lavish and Thrifty.
Perfect. And me personally, you can find me on or at the Slaughters House, Slaughters with an S House, on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. All of them are the same. I was really surprised that they had the Slaughters House available on all platforms. I'm like, this is God. Thank you. But yeah. And then of course, Generation Genesis, you're here on the page, on Generation Genesis page. But Generation Genesis 1 on, I believe, Instagram and TikTok, and then Generation Genesis Today on Facebook, and just Generation Genesis on YouTube. But that concludes our webinar. Thank you so much. I hope you all have an amazing weekend. Happy Friday to you all.